Hello everyone, trust your day is going well. So today I'll be talking about inflation and the impact it's having on our economy, and of course what the government can be able to do in order to reduce the impact of inflation. So I'll be given some historical data. I'm going to paste it on the screen on, of course, some of the inflation rates, November inflation rates beginning from 1999 during the administration of President Obasanjo. So, of course, inflation, as we know it, is a general increase in price of goods and services over time. There is a certain increase in prices of goods that is acceptable because producers want prices to increase. It is, but when the price becomes too much and it becomes persistent over time, then we have inflation, and that will not be good for them, for the producers, for the government, and also for, of course, the consumers as well. It's not good for everyone. So in November 1999, during the administration of Obasanjo, inflation was 0.04%. And imagine that, comparing that with the rate of inflation right now. In November 2006, inflation was 7.76%. During the administration of President Yar'Adua, in 2009, inflation was 5.16%. Then in 2009, it became 12.37%. During the administration of Jonathan, in November 2010, inflation was 12.77%. In November 2014, inflation was 7.93%. So you can see that. During Buhari's administration in 2015, inflation was 9.37%. In November 2022, inflation was 21.47%, then to 24.13%. So you can see this is the inflation rate. So, but you can imagine that we started having double digit again in 2015 during the administration of President Buhari. And of course, it skyrocketed and it became around 24.13% towards the tail end of his administration. And that was among the reasons why you can see there was a general increase. And a lot of people were even asking that before this man came into power, fuel was 163. Before the end of the administration, it became this and 200 plus, and everything was going up. So why? So this is the reason, because inflation was going up. But then during the administration, of course, Tinubu is just 1 year, 5 months. But you can see that what he got in November 2023, inflation was 28.2%. And right now in November 2024, inflation is 34.6%. In fact, right now, as I'm talking in December 2024, inflation is 39.93%. So this data you can check. You can see this data on the. If you want to find out, you can check NBS, National Bureau of Statistics. The data is there. So of course, we always know the problem. The problem are well known by everyone. What we need to do right now is talk about the solution. What do we do to mitigate the impact of inflation as an economy? So the government, of course, can be able to engage in so many activities that can reduce the impact of inflation. Of course, number one is to align the fiscal and the monetary policy, because these two policies usually they both want to stabilize the economy. Both the central bank and, of course, Ministry of Finance, they're working hard, of course, to stabilize the economy. But if you look at the policies right now, they are just conflicting. The Central Bank of Nigeria is increasing the interest rates, increasing the MPR, and they are doing their best to stabilize the economy. On the other hand, the fiscal policy, the government is not doing the best because they are expanding the economy. They are spending more, and of course, they're increasing their taxes. So we're going to talk about that before the end of the video. So the first is to align the fiscal and the monetary policy tool. The fiscal tool is the use of government transfers, of government spending. Government can decide to curtail their spending or increase their spending. And they can do that either by transfers and all of that, and increasing taxes or reducing taxes and all of that. So we're going to talk about that a little. I don't want to make this video very long. But then the government have to try to align the fiscal and the monetary policy too. So secondly, if you look at the drivers of inflation in Nigeria, they are always, mostly they are, number one is the food prices, because people usually look at inflation in terms of the prices of goods. Like someone telling you that some months ago, this basket of certain food, tomato was maybe 5,000 and now it is 100,000. So that is the difference. So most Nigerians usually look at inflation in terms of food prices. So you see, so number one driver of inflation in Nigeria is food prices. Then secondly, we have energy prices and housing. So one of the solutions the government can be able to, what the government needs to do, of course, is to invest in agricultural productivity, invest in fertilizer, subsidize farming, invest in farming, invest in storage, invest in processing, invest in logistics and transportation, all of that. Because by doing this, you will be able to make food cheaper and people will not feel the impact, and provide security. I'm not a security expert, I don't want to go to that area, but the problem is that a lot of farmers can't even go to farm right now. So, and because of that, those who are able to go to farm are paying huge ransoms to bandits. So you can see that will translate into a more increase in the price of food commodities. So the federal government needs to do the best they can to invest in agricultural productivity. So the government also need to try to increase or strengthen their international trade, because this will reduce international trade relationship with other countries, because this will reduce exposure to global shocks. And that brings me to the next point, which is a diversification of the economy away from oil. So the government have to do their best that they can to ensure that they diversify away from oil, because this will reduce any global shock in terms of oil prices. So these are some of the points actually. So just like I said, you have to invest in agriculture, because agriculture is very important. Some of the policies that the federal government brought recently in terms of removing subsidy from almost everything, removing subsidy from electricity, thereby making electricity to go up, the price of electricity to go up. I know of a company that before then, the cost of producing the amount of money they usually pay to the electricity company, the company is located in Kano actually, is 300,000 naira. But after the policy, it became 5 million. So imagine if they are going to put that in the cost of production. You understand? So if you're selling a bag of rice for maybe 1,000, the price might, sorry, if you're selling a bag of rice for 50,000, it might shoot up, the price might went up to as much as 80 to 100,000. So there is need for that subsidy actually. And of course, also the second policy was the exchange rates stability. The exchange rates, the government decided to float the exchange rate to allow the force of demand and supply to work. So you can see because of that, the price of dollar went from as much as 700 to almost 1,900 naira. So that would definitely translate into the cost of production, because a lot of raw materials and machineries and technical, a lot of them, of course, are being imported into the country. So need to be translated into the cost of production. So, this is the second policy, and also fuel subsidy, the removal of fuel subsidy, because there is no availability of electricity, and a lot of companies are depending hugely on diesel or petrol for the production of their goods. And now, by the time you remove the subsidy, what you're telling them is that they can increase the cost of production. So these are some of the main reasons why we have increasing in the. So